I'm going to be talking about a subject that, so far as I can ascertain from YouTube rules, which keep changing all the time, I should not be naming in detail in the first couple of minutes of my video. I don't know if this will work because I absolutely had to put the name in the title. So if YouTube won't let me do that, I'll have to take the video down and rename it. I'm just telling you that in case there's a problem somewhere along the line. We'll see. Suffice it to say, it's a subject I mentioned in a previous video not too long ago, and it's to do with the stuff taken by certain people to give them the courage to walk across a border and do unspeakable things to a whole lot of peaceniks. And of course, that's not just in Israel. I'm Graniopteryx. All right, having got that out of the way, I can probably now tell you that I'll be talking about the synthetic amphetamine phenethylene, more commonly known as Captagon, or in the Arab world, even more commonly known as Abu Hilalain. That is, father of the two crescent moons, because the pills look like this. But possibly not just for that reason. Abu Hilal, that's the singular form of the name, was a famous early Arabic scholar and lexicographer who happened to have been born in Persia and who worked very hard to encourage Persians to become sophisticated enough with Arabic so they could be accepted on an equal footing with their Arab oppressors. But I digress. Just remember that Abu Hilal was a Persian who encouraged Persians to drink the Islamic Kool-Aid, and Abu Hilalain is a drug. Or is that the other way round? Whatever. I'm coming back to this subject because I was surprised at how many people didn't know about it. I don't know why, I just sort of assumed everyone did. I was even more shocked to discover just last night from an Israeli subber who has links in the Israel medical world that in general hardly anyone in Israel knew about this particular psychoactive either. And now that they have a lot of captured Hamas prisoners addicted to the stuff, they're going into hyperdrive trying to find out what phenethylene actually does to the brain. I suppose what my friend was saying was that they don't know how it does what it does. Even a non-scientist like me can tell you what it does. What it does is it turns an ordinary, ignorant and brainwashed religious fanatic who could shoot a woman holding a child and call it praising God, turns him into a vicious and sadistic monster who shoots the same woman and the child, but only after he's done things to them that I can't talk about on YouTube. What I want to know about all of this is, why isn't the world's press discussing it? Why aren't they saying that Israel is fighting an organisation who are themselves dealing drugs and feeding drugs to their foot soldiers to turn them into monsters? Why is this not a thing? Anyway, if the press over here isn't that bothered, there are plenty of governments in the Arab world that are. Saudi Arabia, for instance, it's flooded with the stuff. In 2010, it was just a relatively few pills here and there, but in the following years, it's been more and more. This is a bit from Wikipedia. In January 2018, Saudi Arabia seized 1.3 million Captagon pills at the Al Haditha crossing near the border with Jordan. By the way, at 1.3 million pills. How did they count them? And this is Graniopteryx, interrupting myself to remind you to like, to subscribe and to share. And if you're on YouTube, click that notification bell. All the links to my other channels are in the description, including links to donation sites. I'm always grateful for donations, but just clicking like is the best thing you can do for this video and my channel generally. And I'm reminding you that the Christmas 2023 competition is now open. The link to the video telling you all about it is also in the description. Okay, back to the show. I mean, it begs the question of whether they took a couple of the pills to stay awake long enough to count them, doesn't it? Anyway. But 1.3 million pills is chicken feed. Well, not exactly chicken feed if you ever want to catch the chickens, but I think you know what I mean. 1.3 million pills were intercepted by Saudi Arabia in 2018, while in February 2020, the UAE found 35 million Captagon pills in a shipment of electric cables from Syria to Jebel Ali. And in December 2020 of that same year, here we are, Italian authorities seized about 14 tons of Captagon arriving from Latakia in Syria and heading towards Libya, numbering about 85 million pills worth about $1 billion. Now, that consignment was heading for Libya, as you will have seen. Libya is at present being torn apart by a vicious civil war, so no prizes for guessing the customers for those pills. This is from the New York Times. The New York Times reported in December 2021 that the Syrian army's elite 4th Armoured Division, commanded by Maher al-Assad, whose brother, Bashar al-Assad, is the ruler of Syria, Maher al-Assad oversees much of the production and distribution of Captagon, among other drugs. The unit controls manufacturing facilities, packing plants, and smuggling networks all across Syria, and has started to deal in crystal meth. Well, that's nice, isn't it? The Division's Security Bureau, headed by Major General Hassan Bilal, provides protection for factories and along smuggling routes to the port city Latakia and to border crossings with Jordan and Lebanon. Jihad Yazigi, editor of the Syria Report, reported that Captagon has probably become Syria's most important source of foreign currency. Now, I'll go back to my previous comment about Abu Hilalain, the pet name for Captagon pills, which refers, as I said, to a Persian cultural hero. Don't you think it's something of a coincidence that Iran, that is, Persia, is doing its best to destroy Saudi Arabia, and that the biggest producer and exporter of Captagon is Syria, one of Persia's puppet regimes? Well, I, for one, don't think it really is a simple coincidence. But even more, I don't think it's a coincidence that media in the West don't mention it either. I mean, how can the universities and schools who've made such heroes and freedom fighters out of Hamas, how can they actually say on live TV or anywhere else for that matter that so many of their heroes are drug-addicted barbarians whose courage and fighting ability comes not from Allah, but from some chemical lab in Syria? As the modernised Muslim war cry should go, Allah hu Kraksar. Till next time. Why not treat yourself or a favoured relative or friend to these magnificent examples of merch? The mugs and t-shirts come in the Graniopteryx design or Granbo with a firearm or the more deadly knitting needles. Go to www.graniopteryx.com and whatever platform you're watching this on, please Click like, subscribe and share, share, share.